Hey, it's tea time again, and I thought I'd come along and have a little chat with you all. So today I want to talk about how your baby is spectacular. So okay, you're pregnant and you're excited, but you're nervous. What have I done? I'm going to have a baby. Will this baby like me? What about the crying? Or maybe you already have a baby. What can you expect from their language development? What kind of communication can you foster with your child? And what would the benefits be? So I'm Roya. I love to help families create a strong bond with their baby from within the womb. And I love to help parents understand the needs and wants of their babies so that they can parent with joy and confidence. Your child will grow up multilingual, feel at home in all their cultures, be close to family abroad, which is super important, and enjoy the opportunities of an international lifestyle. Is that what you're hoping to have for your child? Well, let's talk about what's possible. I've helped hundreds of families over the last 7 or 8 years. I have an online course that focuses on baby sign language. Every baby that I've worked with has signed back to their parents, and I'm excited to support your family too. So, have you heard about some parents, some mums sometimes, some dads who find it difficult to bond with their baby? The bonding doesn't come naturally. It doesn't always just happen naturally. And breastfeeding, that's a learned behavior. And so many families who wanted to feed their child through breastfeeding have given up because the mum has suffered pain, stress, the baby's crying all the time, and this teamwork just doesn't seem to materialize. And what about the terrible twos? In English we say the terrible twos. In Dutch, we used to live in the Netherlands, and in Dutch they say twee zegt nee, which is two says no. Well, challenging behavior starts as your baby is no longer a baby and becomes a toddler. Tantrums, meltdowns. Then there's potty training dread. Have you started worrying about that yet? Parents are waiting longer and longer before attempting to remove nappies, diapers from their lives. And that might be something you're concerned about too. Well, how do you feel? Do you have these worries? Well, I don't want you to worry about these things. I want you to be excited and happy about this baby that you have, and that you're going to be able to create this strong bond with your baby, that you're going to be able to work together with your baby, connect with them, and be a team. Because when you're both on the same page, you, your partner, your baby, all the family together, things are much easier. So I teach infant communication, and this is a term that I use to describe a collection of parenting tools. And these tools help you to reach these goals. So, right, let's say you are pregnant. When is your baby due? Let us know down below. You can connect with your baby now. And I'm sure people have said, make sure to talk to your baby while they're in the womb. Make sure to stroke them and touch them. Sing songs to them. Some mums find that really funny. Like, I found it a bit weird. Like, I'm talking to my belly. That's really strange. But I can tell you 3 things that research has helped us understand recently that might motivate you to do these things. So the first one is that your baby can recognize who is touching them within the womb. They know when you are stroking them, and they know the difference when it's dad. Isn't that amazing? Your baby can recognize your voice. When they're born, in the first days, newborn babies show preference for their parents' voices. So they hear the voice and they turn their heads towards them. It's beautiful. And another thing, this is an amazing piece of research, newborns cry in the tone of the language that they've most been exposed to. So there was some research done with French-speaking families and German-speaking families, and they discovered that newborn babies cry in French if they're in a French environment with French-speaking family, and they cry in German if they have German family and they're in a German-speaking environment. So the tone of the cry is different These things are just amazing. So it goes to show that the baby inside mummy's belly is already building connections with the outside world. So what are you doing now to connect more with your baby? Okay, now let's say you have a newborn. So when your baby cries, what do you do? Do you have the checklist? We had the checklist. Most parents have a checklist. Is my baby hot? Are they cold? Are they hungry? Are they tired? When did I last change their nappy, their diaper? And you go through all the things, and then you try all the things, and then they're still crying, and you're like, why are you crying now? What is it that I'm missing? Wouldn't it be amazing just to know? Wouldn't it be amazing to know what your baby needs before they start crying? Well, this is totally possible. You can learn your baby's body language. Your baby's expressions and movements in the first months are telling you whether they are hungry or tired, whether they need to pee or poo. If you learn to recognize these signals and these cues, you can respond appropriately to them before they start to cry. Less crying, yay! So what do I mean by these expressions or body language? Well, I will give you a couple of examples. I have a resource on this that goes more in depth, so if you want that, send me a PM or drop a message below. And I will make sure that you get the newborn pack that I have created. But for example, if your baby is hungry, they might be moving their head, looking for where the milk is coming from. They might, I had this with my baby when she was small, and I was holding her, with her belly on my shoulder and rocking her head is here. She would go, looking for food. And another thing many babies do is like a kissy, when they're moving their mouth and they make like a kissy movement with their lips, they are telling you that they are hungry. So if you notice that, feed your baby, because then you'll have a baby that gets their needs and wants satisfied before they have to cry because they're hungry and uncomfortable. And we all know that a crying baby is very difficult to feed. So yeah, I wish I'd known about all of this for my first baby. I only discovered it by the time I had my second one. And I was somebody that was really focused on communicating with my child. So I don't want you to miss out on this. Okay, so say now, let's see. Tea time. Say now that your baby is between 6 and 12 months old. This is where baby sign language becomes really beautiful. You can use gestures to communicate with your child before they can speak. Your baby's first word. Do you know when to expect your baby's first word? What do you think? 6 months old? 12 months old? 18 months old? What do you think? Are you guessing? And if you said 12 months old, you're right. Their first word comes at around 12 months old. It's often mama or papa or dada, dad. It might be a favorite food. It might be a favorite toy. It might be the name of your pet, your dog or your cat. And you can expect that at around a year old. It can be earlier, it can be a bit later. There's a big range of what is normal. But that's just their first word. But your baby is understanding like lots of things from around 6 months old. Okay, so think about that. That's already 6 months in which they understand things, but they cannot speak. And so that leads to frustration. They won't be saying full sentences for many more months, maybe around 2 years old. So that's where you get 2-year-olds, right? Who know what they want. You know they know what they want. They know they want something, but they cannot tell you what it is. That's lots of frustration, and that's a big part of the terrible twos. So by teaching them how to express themselves and ask for things with their hands, for example, this is milk. If you teach them to do this when they want milk, before they can speak, they can ask for their milk without crying for it. And then, yeah, so 1 to 2 years old, we already mentioned the terrible twos. They have difficulty communicating, and the frustration is real. So give them the tools that they need to ask for more food, to give them choices, to allow them to grow into this autonomy that they are starting to realize that they are independent from you. Give them some power, the power of communication. Also, at this moment, it's really nice to talk about some of the benefits of all of this focusing on communication with your baby. So it's wonderful for bonding. It's great for also dads to help with the bonding, because maybe mom is there busy with the breastfeeding, or you're getting on board with the bottles. Dad, get involved. So you can also be signing with your baby. Our son, his first sign was Papa. He was asking for his dad, Papa. Oh, it was so cute. My husband was so happy. And also, it's really beautiful to help siblings bond with each other. So I just discovered the other day a video of my daughter signing hug when she was less than a year old, and she was asking for a hug from her brother, who was about 2.5. Oh my goodness. And he comes and he gives her a hug. It's just the most beautiful thing. So for bonding, brilliant. Signing with your baby kickstarts cognitive development. This is really good for multilingual families, especially because babies who use these gestures, these signs, tend to have bigger vocabularies earlier than their peers who do not use these gestures and signs. And this is just good sense for a multilingual family, because multilingual children, so a bilingual child, needs to do more work to be in the same place in both their languages. So if a monolingual child, a child with one language, has to learn 1,000 words to be, at a place with 1,000 words in their language, a bilingual child, a child with 2 languages, will have to learn 2,000 words to be in the same place in both their languages. And then imagine if your child has 3 or 4 languages. That's quite a lot of words. It's a lot of work. So we can help them start this earlier. And also the beautiful thing about signing is that it bridges the languages, and it also helps the baby understand that they are separate language systems. So I have a resource for this. It's my first family language plan. So let me know if that would be useful for you, because then you can plan out some of the strategies that you'll use to help your multilingual child. So if you have 2, 3, or 4 languages, I can help you get started. Then a beautiful thing, it's amazing that doing all of this lays the foundation for reading, because these small children, these toddlers, already understand that visual symbols have meaning. And so they're reading images, they're reading pictures in their storybooks and looking for meaning. And I can give you an example. I remember my daughter was looking at one of my son's books. My son is older. She was looking at one of his books, and there's a picture of a mum who wants to stop a bus because her bag is on the bus. I think she's forgotten the bag on the bus. And the mum has her hands out like this, and in the image, and the mum is saying, stop, stop. And my daughter can't read, but she's going, stop, stop. And she's about 1.5 years old, and she recognized this, putting her hand out, stop, as the sign that we use in our family to sign for stop, stop now. And so she was reading the sign, she was reading the picture. And then, of course, when they, is looking at letters, they already know that these little things on the page can have meaning. And so it really helps with reading. And the love of reading is so important for multilingual children, because reading is a great input to allow them to learn all this vocabulary in all the languages. So, yeah, my method works. The infant communication method works. I've worked with hundreds of families for many years, and I don't know about a baby yet that didn't sign. They might prioritize other things for a while, like movement, but they all want to communicate with you, with their parents. So yeah, I hope this has given you a little introduction to what I do, and that you can see that your baby is spectacular. Our babies are so capable, and it gives you some joy in the relationship that you have with your baby. So if you would like any support with any of these things, baby body language, baby sign language, early potting your baby, like elimination communication, and multilingualism, those are the things that I'm working at now. And don't forget, I have my online course for baby sign language. So yeah, get in touch. Have a lovely day.